So should we hold up the binder?
They'll screen cap you, and then you'll be in the drama.
Oh God, they're gonna screen cap me.
Okay, this is what the binder would look like.
Don't smile, because if you
wasn't covered
smile,
up.
that means you obviously don't care about people.
Can we open the binder?
Yeah, show everybody.
Show everybody what the first page is.
Okay.
You
The
can
first page.
Oh, don't show.
It's blank.
Okay,
show
no,
that?
you're fine. There's nothing. Yeah, you can show them everything.
Okay, the first page is just blank.
Here's
There's a
good.
table of
I
contents.
think this is the third page.
No, you
can I just start leafing through it?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Here's page. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're getting into the juicy grits of the binder. I don't know what all these words and names are. Maybe you can explain it, Michael.
Well, let's start
table
from
of contents.
Let's start from the
Oh,
beginning.
this is it.
Yeah, so we'll start from the beginning. The number one lie that was told, well, and there were so many lies, how can you keep track, was, and it was funny because I ran into a friend randomly, we won't say who, and we were hanging out, and then I texted Rob to come hang out. We wound up meeting in person finally, and it was so funny because the internet was like doing whatever, and we're just hanging out, and the timeline of it was interesting because there were a couple weeks ago, there was a summit to discuss new media strategies, and the press pool is going to change. They want people like you doing interviews in the White House. They wanted to take over. They wanted WACA, the White House Correspondents Association, which is a cartel that would exclude people like you and us. They were ending the cartel. So everything was about, here's a new media strategy. And there were people from the Federalists that were covering other things. And then there were a few of us who were in one room because you could only have so many people. And so we go there to take our phones. They claim it's a secure room, whatever. No phones. We get briefings from everybody. I can't say who, but from everybody. It was on background, which a lot of people who don't have any journalistic ethics like, well, wait, why did you wait 3 hours? Well, because it was an embargo. It's called an embargo. There's a reason people talk to me and not the people that are going after me, because it was an embargo. An embargo means you can smear me for 3 hours and there is nothing that I can do to defend myself. But that's the honor. That's honor system. So no phones. Great day. Trump ends up, we got the challenge coins. Trump, we weren't really supposed to meet Trump. You know how it is in the White House. Trump world, chaotic, right? And they're just like, oh, here's Trump. Oh, here's these guys. And the whole point of the meeting was that we want Timcast, we want the Federalists, we want Breitbart, we want Rob Smith. We want people covering the media alongside the New York Times, because the New York Times and WACA is spreading a hoax that, only pro-Trump people are going to be allowed. That's just an abject lie. As you can see if you're there, they're just saying that, no, these other people that you excluded with your cartel-like behavior can't be excluded anymore, right? And so we get all these, I have all these notes, I feel like I'm back in law school and I'm taking notes, super hyped. And then I can't say who, but you could guess who, because again, it's on background, which means I can't say who the person was, but we get the big box of stuff comes in, binders, Epstein files, right? Like, oh, that's interesting. They brief us and they go, hey, don't overhype this. Here's what's going on. We thought we had all the files we needed, but we found out that there's been stonewalling and destruction of evidence, and Anna Paulina has said this publicly, and this was a different person who told us. So here's a letter to Kash Patel. The story is the letter. The files we're giving you because we want to show like, hey, we're doing what we can do. We're doing what we can do. Don't overhype them. Downplay expectations. But the letter was the big story. Embargo's till 3. Okay, great. So we have our meetings. We go into the Oval Office. Everybody's like super hyped up now because Trump's in there. If anybody wants any of that information, I can talk about all that. But everybody's super like wound up. And we leave the Oval Office after taking our pictures and getting our coins and our markers and everything. And then here's the marker. I'll show you. They're pretty cool. The ASMR executive pin marker for signing the.
Yeah, I've got one of those from Trump 1.0.
Yeah.
They're
Floating
extra
around
squeaky,
somewhere.
right?
The marker,
Pass it around.
yeah. So everybody's like wound up, and then the UK people needed the room that we were in the West Wing, so they're like, sorry guys, we got to leave. We're going to go up to the other room in the Eisenhower building. It's actually the interview room where J.D. Vance had his I don't really care Margaret moment. So we're walking down from the West Wing, and then I felt like I was walking into a firing squad, because I don't like people to know that what I do, because then all people do is bloodsuck. Oh, Cerno. Oh, how do I meet Trump? Oh, and then they get jealousy, like, well, why are you there and not? All it does is causes me problems. So everybody who actually knows me knows that I'm always like, look, I'm irrelevant, I'm a loser, don't text me, lose my number, I can't do anything, because I don't want people to know, because it's just manipulative. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and then some people turned over because they go, what are you holding? So everybody's just kind of like, well, here's what it's like a natural reaction. And if you see the one picture, I was like trying to hide my face. My eyes are like, it's like, where's Waldo? And then I put it down, and then they're like, oh, you smirked. You don't understand the seriousness of the moment. Like, no, I tried to hide my face. The smirk was, I was like, I'm caught. I got caught. It felt like you were leaving a brothel, and then it was like your girlfriend was out there, right? You're like, oh man, but you're leaving a frat party or something. You're like, man, I'm totally caught. And then we had to go up to the room, and we still don't have phones. We don't have our phones.
They took your phones from you?
Yeah. So we didn't have our phones, and then all the people are posting pictures of us.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, man. And then I get my phone back at like 12:45, 12:50, and then I'm tagged in all these pictures. And then they're like, oh, they got the Epstein files. And I'm like, dude, I'm under embargo. I can't say that they're nothing, even though I'd been briefed that they were nothing, but that they were trying to get what they had, and the real story was the letter from the AG to Cash. That was the real story. And I'm like, man. So I started DMing people, you guys called, and I was like, guys, it's nothing. Here's the letter. It's under embargo till 3. Trying to manage expectations back scene, and then in the back of the scene, right? And then that all becomes, oh, you're covering up, and why did you guys only get these things, and why didn't we? So for 3 hours, I just had to let people give me a licking, right? And it was a lot of people. I was surprised. I was like, man, all these years, and you can't send me a DM before you put me on blast.
Why do you think that they released it to 5 people and not to the public?
Let me. I'm sorry.
We'll follow up with that.
What I wanted to point out to a lot of people who don't know is that the only reason we have these files, whatever they may be, even if it's 10 years old, is because you filed legal paperwork which broke open the Epstein story. That is you. When I saw people coming out of the White House, and you're in the background, kind of like looking away and like trying to get away from the cameras, there was no moment in my mind where I was like, how come Mike is there? I was like, of course Mike is there. He broke this story.
But like literally, you were the guy, like the guy that started the. How did it start when you?
It started, there was a defamation action brought against Ghislaine Maxwell, and everything, my lawyer, Mark Randazza, who's a First Amendment lawyer, and he sent me this case file, and everything was just redacted. And he goes, hey, aren't you always talking about Epstein? And I go, yeah. And he said, well, here's a backdoor way for you to get Epstein information. Because it was a defamation case, there were depositions. It wasn't against Epstein, but it involved him because it was a civil lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell. So we filed what was called a motion to intervene on behalf of Cerno Media, my media company, and a motion to unseal.
Wow.
And so we filed that. And we lost at the trial court level. And then we went up on appeal to the Second Circuit. And in the meantime, the Miami Herald then filed, they joined mine. So they joined my motion to intervene and motion to unseal. They also lost. And then it all went up to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And then in oral argument, it became so obvious that the files would be unsealed that Epstein was arrested the weekend after oral arguments indicated. And, and Tim could confirm this.
I want to stress this.
Yeah.
Epstein was a free man.
Yes.
Mike filed these papers. Miami Herald joins.
Yep.
Epstein gets arrested.
What did he get arrested for?
Well, the indictment thing is a whole other story we've talked about before, where it was a containment operation. So if you read the indictment against Epstein, they charged the minimal amount of conduct that you could charge that would allow you to create a media firestorm around it and make it look like you were doing something. But they didn't contemporaneously raid the New Mexico property, the island, because I remember Luke Rukowski was going down to the island. The FBI hadn't even gone there.
Yeah.
So the criminal case against Epstein was actually a containment operation, which is a different discussion, which we've had before, because I explained that there's Mann Act violations that weren't charged. It really was. It was like, well, we got to charge him with something. we'll charge him, well, he got a massage in his apartment. Therefore, we could only search his apartment. We can't search Santa Fe because all this is about is him getting a massage from a 16-year-old. Containment operation. It was a mop-up operation, clearly. And but that's what they charged him with, but they didn't charge him until the Second Circuit oral argument. The oral argument was actually pretty funny. They go, well, why can't you unseal these records? You can't be in federal court and have confidentiality. You can be in arbitration and have confidentiality. You can have an NDA, which unfortunately a lot of media outlets use to silence people, is you can put people under NDA and mandate arbitration, but once you're in federal court, that's all public. Other than your social security number, your address, financial like revenue records, you can redact confidential information, but you can't just say, shh, the whole legal theory and allegations and everything can't be redacted. So the Second Circuit oral argument, where Rendaz was there and the Miami Herald was there, they go, I mean, what are you talking about? Of course. And it was obvious. So if you read the contemporaneous media coverage, which a lot of people didn't read at the time and they don't know how to look up, you can say oral argument says Miami Herald and Cernovich are going to get this. Then they arrest Epstein a couple of days later when he's flying back. So if there isn't me and there isn't the Miami Herald, 100% he doesn't get indicted. 100%. This is not up for like rational debate. So then people, go ahead.
It was a crazy chain of events when all this was going down, and I remember Luke being like, "They arrested him! Like, what happened?" And now here we are. I mean, how many years ago was that? Like 8 years?
2019, I think.
2019, so 6 or so years. Yeah. And now we have this moment at the White House where the files are coming out.
Yeah, so follow-up question from earlier. So they give these files to 5 people or something?
No, everybody in the room got it. 15.
Okay, but why 15? Why a small select group and not the public?
Why shouldn't they?
What was your take on that?
No, I mean, I hate that question because everybody online is like, well, why? It's pretty normal for some people to get releases of information that they can go through. And like, why just release it online and then every random person can post some random thing out of context?
In case gatekeepers get a hold of it and decide.
I mean, 20 people, you can't gatekeep 20 people, right? So, for example, the files were pretty much nothing, and one of them was a black book. But if they just use some general release, some lunatic is going to say, oh, look, Trump was in it. And you're like, it was a black book. Walter Isaacson was in it. Ivana Trump was in it. It was just a list of phone numbers. It's like if somebody goes into your email, they're like, oh, wow, you had his email, therefore there's this. So a lot of people handle things irresponsibly. So if it's one person or 2 people or 3 people, then the whole like, well, maybe it's being gatekept could be possible. But with 20 people, there's just no way to gatekeep it.
Do you think this was a stunt, a PR stunt?
The debate is, and this is how some people who were there yesterday feel. I don't feel this way. There's 3 theories. The theory I have, the theory that we were set up, and then the theory that it was 4D chess. So the 4D chess theory is that the reaction of everybody yesterday was so intense that that's really going to pressure SDNY and the FBI to know people are really mad. You got to give something real, right? So it was all 4D chess. The setup thing was like, well, we got set up to look bad. That wasn't the vibe of the meeting. Hey, everybody come in. You're going to get briefed by everybody. Trump's going to give everybody a coin. Trump's whole thing is you guys are the media now. You know, there's people now on Air Force One who are with the Daily Wires on Air Force One. If you guys want to get on Air Force One, you're going to be able to. So, oh, hey, you guys can be on Air Force One if you want. Apply. We'll get you on. Oh, you want to go do an international meeting? Posobiec went to, I think, the Ukraine stuff. You can go. Oh, but we're going to set you up. Like, what? Please set me up more. You know, it's just not congruent as a theory. And then the 4D chessman is, I don't think it is. What I think happened was Pam Bondi was on the media hyping things, and then she found out that there was a big cover-up. She wanted to hand people what they had because Anna Paulina and other people in Congress were hassling her. She's 60. She doesn't look 60. She's 60. She doesn't understand the OODA loop of new media and how it's just chaos. So once everybody went out and once there was a picture, no embargo. There just should have been no embargo. I should have just been able to say, hey, guys, there's nothing in here, just so you know.
Well, it got leaked almost instantly.
Right. And then you got to end the embargo. So the OODA loop, which is my theory, is that if you're more old school, you don't understand it's chaos. And once one little thing happens, you have to respond in the information battlefield immediately. You can't go, well, the embargo's till 3.
Yeah.
Who cares that your pictures are there? Now Elon's wondering what's in these files. Everybody, so I'm DMing people. Guys, it's actually the letter. It's under embargo. I'm messaging you. Viva Frey. Everybody who DMs me, I'm being like, guys, no. Don't say anything till 3 o'clock, though. And that's just how it went down.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.